ask you about Useful Idiots a little bit. As people might remember, we made a video about Useful Idiots being canceled by Rolling Stone. And of course, you guys were gracious enough to shout us out in your podcast, which was huge for our channel. So obviously, thank you and Matt so much. That was awesome. And just a huge thrill for us personally. But I feel like throughout all that stuff, I still don't exactly know or remember why the show got canceled. There was so much dry humor. So many good jokes on your and Matt's part that I'm still honestly a little bit confused. Was it because of Aaron Mate? Was it what exactly was it?
No, it's not that clear. And I mean, I have to come up with some other reasons. Let's see. Did I do anything? Premature solidarity with Norman Finkelstein's cancel culture book. I'm sure they knew that we were going to do that. No, it wasn't. Honestly, we never got that many answers. And I think that, someone should do weren't you guys going to do a deep dive and demand answers? You should do a really dramatic trailer.
I'm going to call up Jan Wenner right now. Exactly. And I'm going to say, get on the fucking phone with me, Jan. Yeah. How did this happen? Yeah. No.
Yeah. We got to expand that though.
It seems crazy to me that happened. And obviously Gavin and I have absolutely goose egg experience when it comes to working in, real media of any kind. And, Rolling Stone is a large publication. It's really corporate. So I don't know what you can share and talk about it and what you can't. But from our vantage point, we were big fans of the show just as, fucking consumers. I watched it all the time. And it seemed like you guys were getting really good numbers. Like this had to have been like a profitable thing for Rolling Stone magazine. So at least the implication is that it was political, right? Like that's pretty clear.
Yeah. I mean, I do think also you can you can get really good numbers, and there are certain things that one needs to do to monetize as much as possible from that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not sure how much that.
So they wanted you to read like cringy ads or some shit before your podcast.
Oh, well, there's that. But just even in terms of making short video clips, there's just a lot of stuff that has to happen. So I don't actually know. And I feel like because I wasn't, Matt was working there, I should just defer to him. Not even doing that in a cop-out way, although I'm happy to hide behind Matt whenever needed. But he had more of the relationship with them because he worked there. I had before this, I pitched, I'd written some articles, listicles.
So like straight up, they just didn't even tell you why. They were just like, it's done, it's over.
Yeah, they talked about it with Matt more, and I think it was a general, things are tough, money, pandemic. I blocked it out mostly.
Yeah, no, that's just fucking crazy. Like I said this on our video at the time that obviously you guys reacted to, but it's like, why the fuck would you hire Matt Taibbi and Katie Halper to do a podcast and then be like, I just don't understand it.
It was also different. I mean, it's interesting because we started the podcast during the primary, and then the primary ended, and we were streaming live. I remember. I mean, not streaming live because it's on a live stream, but we were taping when we learned that Bernie Sanders had dropped out, and I was like so angry. It was an interesting moment though. I definitely told them to cut out a bunch of like the curses because I was a little too, I think.
I actually forget that episode. Were you upset at Bernie himself for dropping out, or were you just generally venting?
Both. I think both. I thought it was too early. There weren't enough concessions. That was when he dropped out. He hadn't endorsed yet. But yeah, I remember Dan Halper, and shout out to Rolling Stone producer Dan Halper, and also shout out to Reed Dunley and Elvis Metcalf who worked on the show. I remember Dan being like, Bernie just dropped out. And I was like, what? And we had Matt Stoller on that day. And then he, of course, slammed Bernie for whatever. And sorry, what was the question? I forgot. Why? Yeah, the split with Rolling Stone. I mean, that's one. Obviously, there's also the Assad thing, the Yemen thing. We wanted Assad to be our third co-host. Then we wanted a Yemeni kid to be one of them. So that also caused some conflict. What else? There was some drama with some Saudi stuff. They wanted, MBS. They countered with MBS having Mohammed bin Salman being the third co-host, not co-host, tri-host.
You, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, MBS, bottles of tequila ready. It would have been a crazy ass show. Yeah, it
would have been really crazy. They also wanted, Matt really wanted the drum to do the opening song, just have a drum solo. That caused some drama that we couldn't resolve. But,
overall, reflecting on it, though, you know, as somebody who's had a foot in, you know, a professional media gig and the independent world as well, you know, do you like it better just, you know, fucking being able to be your own boss, just, you know, going out? Like, I mean, as somebody who, you know, one, has never had the opportunity, but also just never really had the interest of doing anything like corporate at all with journalism. Like, you know, I wouldn't get fired, fucking, you know, throw a rock anywhere. But I'm just saying, if I did, I find that I would be fucking frustrated by the oversight, the editorial board, all of the kind of things that Gavin and I don't have to deal with. Like, the only people we take shit from is the audience. Like, you know what I mean? And then you can just turn it off. They're not your like boss. They just take your money away. You know, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that there is always that. I mean, I didn't deal. To be fair, we didn't deal with that much pushback or pressure or editorial pressure. But I do think, to the extent that there was any, it was always, you know, having a huge platform. I do think infiltrating a more mainstream corporate space definitely has its advantages from a strategic political perspective in terms of reaching people. So, you know, the energy is a little different now. Of course, it was already different because it's not in person. It wasn't in person. I don't know. I think there's positives in both. But I do think that, to be fair to Rolling Stone, there were certain times, but in general, they didn't pressure us that much. And also, I just want to tell these delusional, weird, like, trolls who think that they're trying to do like a petition because we had Max Blumenthal on was part of it. No, you failed. That was a fail. We stayed on, and you couldn't bring a single fact or a single receipt to debunk what Max said, which is why these people always have to resort to smears because they can't engage in anything substantive. So
yeah, you had Max on right after he got arrested on some bogus shit, right?
Yeah. We had him on to talk about getting arrested for protesting outside the Venezuelan embassy, which was hilarious. I mean, I did a funny thing on that with when Max was on my show, on the Katie Halper show. We talked about that. We watched the video of this woman who was like accusing him. She was like, this man with pink, what are they called? Code pink, looked at me with a face full of so much hate and fear, and like stomped on me. Just like, and the rumors were like he attacked an older woman. The woman who was this older Venezuelan woman, but then somehow it was that she was like pregnant, which was really funny because she would have been like in the world record of like oldest pregnancies. She wasn't that old, but she definitely was older than, you know, not to generalize, but it would have been a tabloid story had that woman been, you know, pregnant.
Yeah.